to get to 100, we're going to count by tens to get to 120. So here we go, lesson 7. Let's watch the video first.
I think you always say that.
Oh, we always watch our video first. Let's go ahead and do that. Okay, quiet places, please.
How can you count to 50 by tens?
That's me, guy.
Let's take a look at a couple of different ways.
That looks like me.
You can use 10 frames to count by tens. How many 10 frames are there for 10? How many 10 frames are there for 20?
How many 10 frames are there for 10?
There is one 10 frame for 10,
1.
and there are two 10 frames for 20. There are 3 10 frames for 30, 4 for 40, and 5 for 50. How many counters are there in 5 10 frames?
How many? 10. 10. How many in 5 though? How many counters there in? How many counters? Listen, please. How many counters are there in 5 10 frames? 50. Now look at the 10 frames. Are they the way we've been doing them all year long? Usually they're like this. Now they're up and down like this. Same amount of counters that needs filled up. It's just a different way. Instead of going this way, they go this way. Still has 10 counters in each 10 frame when they're filled up. Okay, so
How many counters are in one 10 frame? Drag one 10 frame into the box to see. Then drag more 10 frames to continue counting by tens.
okay, so how many are here? 10. And then we drag another one, we have 20, 30, 40, 50. We can even keep going. 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, 120. We can keep going. Today we're going to go to 120.
There are 50 counters in 5 10 frames.
We only needed 5.
How do you count the groups of counters by tens, starting with the first 10 frame? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. You can also follow a pattern to count by tens. 6 tens is 60, 7 tens is 70, 8 tens is 80, 9 tens is 90, 10 tens is 100, 11 tens is 110, 12 tens is 120.
Okay, do you see that? 6 has 6 tens, there's 6 tens and 0 ones. 7 has 7 tens and 0 ones. 8 has 8 tens and 0 ones. 9 has 9 tens and 0 ones. 10 tens has 10 and 0 ones. 11 and 0 ones. 12 and 0 ones.
What do you notice about the numbers as you count from 60 to 120?
What do you notice? Okay. You can count up.
The number of tens is written first, followed by a 0. What do you notice about the words as you count from 60 to 90?
What do you notice about the words? As you count from 60 to 90. 60, 70, 80, 90. There's only one word, right?
The words start with the number of 10.
Look at that.
60 starts with 6.
7,
70 starts with 7.
9.
80 starts with 8. 90 starts with 9. What do you notice about the words when you count from 100 to 120?
100. 100 120. You see that?
Each number starts with 100 and then the words for how many more tens. 100 has no more tens. 110 has one more 10. 120 has two more tens. Now you know how to count by tens.
It might be Daniel.
All right, let's go ahead
Daniel.
and
Does it look like Daniel?
Salt and share. You have your paper in front of you. Your name is already on your paper.
Does it look like Daniel? No.
And you're going to listen to what we have to do.
Alex put counters in some 10 frames. How can you find out how many counters there are without counting each one? Write the number.
And how can you find out how many counters there are without counting each one? Without going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. That would take a really long time. How else could you do it?
Sounds like 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay, so you can count how many 10 frames there are. Okay, how many 10 frames are there? 10. There's 10 frames. And 10 frames have 10 in each one. So how many 10 frames are there altogether, everybody? What do you think? Okay, how many counters are there? Yes, how many counters?
120.
Well, let's count them. Because if there's only 10, let's count them. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. So go ahead and write 100. 100 counters in all. There's 10 groups of 10. 10 groups of 10 counters. Wait, is yours different on your paper?
No. Yeah.
Yours is different on your paper, isn't it? You have more. You're right, Charlotte. You said 120 because look at your paper. Your paper is different than mine up here.
Really?
Yeah, look at how many 10 frames do you have on your paper? 12.
12.
And I only have 10 up here. So that changes your answer. My answer would be correct.
I have 12.
Good. But you have 12. So let's see. I'll make my paper look like your paper. I'm gonna put 2 more 10 frames up here. Okay? Alright, I got 2 more 10 frames up here.
To fill it in.
Okay. Now let's count by tens. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. 110, 120. So when Charlotte said 120 earlier, you were right because you were looking at your paper. I didn't realize your paper and my paper were different. So you are going to write 100. 1, 2 counters in all.
Erase the 2 zeros. Erase the zeros.
Well, just go ahead and fix your answer. Okay, turn to the next page. If you're turning to the next page, I know that you will be ready. Oh, PJ, you don't have to do that. You don't have to add more. Your paper already has 6. So erase those 2 10 frames. I was making my paper look like your paper. Because for some reason mine was wrong.
Oh, this one has got 20.
Okay. Let's quiet our voices down now. Okay. So yes, the video, look how small those 10 frames are there in the video. Let's look down at our guided practice here. Woo. we have 3 groups of 10s, right? PJ, look up here. PJ, look up here. We're not counting up at the top right now. We're doing down here. We have 1, 2, 3 10 frame groups of 10. So 3 10s make how many altogether? 30. 10, 20, 30. And then you're going to write 30. TH says the, and then IRTY, 30. Go ahead and trace that. Then look at number 2. Count by 10s. 10, 20. Write the numbers and the number words. So how many groups of 10s do they have? 2. How many were there all together? How many were there all together? 20. 10, 20. And you know how to write the number 20. It's T, W, E, N, T, Y. That's how you spell 20.
That's a long word.
Good. You'll be doing this next year.
Not working.
Okay, I have a question for you. When might it be better to count by 10s instead of 1s? When might it be better? When you're in a rush? Good. What else? Like say I had coins and I wanted to pass out coins to everyone, money to everyone. And I had all my friends in my class.
We have about 10.
There would be a lot of coins to count, so putting them in groups of 10s would make it easier, right? So when there's a lot to count, it's easier to count by 10s. Okay, so I liked what Madeline said, if you're in a rush, yes, count by 10s. But also if there are a lot of things, you can make groups of 10s. So when there is a lot, so you could just write a lot to count. So when there's a lot to count, you can count by 10s. It makes it go faster. So we count by 10s. It helps me count faster.
Is it almost 1?
It's almost lunchtime. We're gonna get. Oh, but we need to have this copied, and when you're done, flip it to the next page, because I'm ready to change this. But I see I know. I'm waiting for friends to get finished. For those friends who are not doing anything, let's start working. All right, you just flip it. So that way we see this page. Okay, how many 10s do we have here? Let's count how many 10s we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we have 12 10s, right? How many counters do we have then?
100.
If we have 12 10s, how many, when we count the counters inside, when we count by 10s, how many do we have? We have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, 120. So look at that, it's 12 with that 0, 120. Are you ready to write 120?
Oh, no.
This is how we write it. I wonder if there's a thinner.
Yeah.
I'll start over here. 1. 1. You know the word 1. It's one of our words this week. 1. 100. 100. 100 is a big word. And then if you could fit 20 next to it, do it. I can't, so I'm going to write it down here.
I can't really see, like, for 100 because it's so tiny.
I'm trying to get tiny.
If I make it bigger right now, can you see what can't you see, Charlotte? 100? 100 is like this. Is that the word you had trouble saying 100?
That's what works. That's all work.
I know, this is a big one. 120.
Yeah, I didn't do what you did. I did
That's okay. It's okay if you can't fit it. Just write it right underneath. This is hard stuff, huh? All right, let's go to number 4. How many tens? How many groups of tens are there? Well, how many tens though? 10, right? You counted and there's 10 tens. I mean, these are different colors. You can see 10 tens, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Which makes how many counters? 100. Now this is how we write 100. We write that number word 1 first. 1. And then you write 100.
It's on the other paper that you don't need to copy.
I have it up there nice and big so you can see it. If you can't see it from where you're sitting. Okay, go ahead and catch up. Open. It's lunchtime almost, so we're gonna finish this page and we'll break for lunch. I know. As soon as we're done with this page, we'll break for lunch. That's why I heard catch up. We haven't got our lunches yet, though. Miss Baswell had to test another kid, so we haven't gotten our lunches yet. So as soon as she comes with our lunches, we'll get started. Okay. Are we caught up? Okay, I'm waiting another moment. While you wait for your friends, those who are finished, see if you could do number 5 on your own. At least count how many groups of 10 and write how many there are altogether. So write how many tens, how many there are altogether, and I'll help you with the number word. Okay, so how many groups are here? How many tens? 9 groups of 10. Make how many? 90, right? 9 and a 0. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. This is how you spell 90.
What nine
Your
times?
hair.
She did cut her hair. Isn't that
No,
nice?
what?
Look at it.
Oh.
90. Okay, we'll do one more and then we'll break for lunch. So once you get that going. Okay.
Oh my
But I'm not done.
All right, we're almost done. One more and we'll break for lunch because you brought the lunches.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Mike writes a pattern. He forgets to write some numbers. What numbers did Mike forget to write?
40, 50.
So let's see. He counts by what? What does he count by first? He counts by 10. So we say 10, 20, 30. What comes next? 40, 50. Then he has 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. And then he has 110, 120. Go ahead and fill those numbers in. Excellent. Excellent. All right, we'll take a little break. We'll come back to 40.